apocalypse, Mr. Manheim.
Who are you?
Your new lord and master. You may call me Darkseid.
Welcome back to I Can't Believe It's Not Darkseid's Couch, formerly known as Darkseid's Couch, formerly known as Darkseid's Couch International, formerly known as Darkseid's Couch. I'm Shée.
This is James.
This is Mike.
That was a production to get done. That was an all hands on deck production to get that figured out.
That's not all hands on deck because I didn't help.
Well, you know, it's sort of like you're sort of the Oates in the Hall and Oates of that. You know, Oates didn't do anything, but if you go to see, no, he was just the mustache. He was just there, and he had some smooth rhythms. But if you went to see Hall and Oates wasn't there, you'd say, "Where the hell's Oates?"
Who's that other the short guy and the guy with the fro?
Arfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Simon and Garfunkel. Like Garfunkel didn't do shit.
Yeah, that's why famed female comedy music duo Garfunkel and Oates is called Garfunkel and Oates. They're the other halves of those duos that didn't do shit.
Whenever James says famed, I'm always just like, I don't know what he's talking about.
You've never heard of Garfunkel and Oates?
Nah.
Oh, they're delightful.
I couldn't remember Simon and Garfunkel.
That's fair. Garfunkel and Oates is a couple of women who write humorous songs, and they're very cute. And
they made the song about not knowing how to jack people off because they were cool.
John showed how to jack people off, and how if you're a Christian and you're trying to remain a virgin, you can still have anal. Things like that.
I remember that horny song.
What an alienating intro to this show! Like it started out so
Not mine.
It started out so wholesome.
Who are we alienating?
People who don't like anal sex, I guess.
I don't like anal sex.
It's a lot of people. Well,
I didn't feel alienated though.
It's a demographic you can't afford to lose.
I don't understand why you think that was insulting in any way.
I don't know,
what if I get poop on my dick? That's a legit fear.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, much like with anal sex, I like to ease into the shit. Over the course of an hour.
Can we not? Come on, this is my episode, guys. This is my special episode.
Well, first of all, this was a request from Jay
I know.
Miller. Yeah,
That's
Jay
why
Miller's
it's mine
special
now.
episode.
Yeah.
It's mine because it's my beautiful miracle.
All right, you want to tell us what's going on here? I'm not saying we're ready to get straight into this, but I want you to tee it up while I try and get a glass of water.
I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Oh my goodness, Shée.
You just said it was your special whatever, and now you're like,
because we're doing Justice League as written by Keith Giffen.
Ken Giffen Jr.
Ken Giffen Jr. Exactly what I was thinking,
card.
honestly.
Yes.
Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis. And
What's that JM stand for?
Jerry Mathers.
just making it.
That's a guy. That's a real guy. I'm sure he is.
Well, it's
that
John
sounds
Mark,
real.
but we're going to say John Mathers. We're going to go with John Mathers. John Mathers and Ken Giffen Jr. got together and they made a little something.
Yes.
What about John Madden?
As well as Kevin McGuire.
Kevin McGuire and Al
related
Gordon.
to Mark.
Yep. Socking a few dingers with Mark and Kevin.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, morning zoo radio.
Yeah.
This is
That's why we have to do this, is because we're too late.
Yeah, I've never been closer to just say, let's just trash this. Let's just trash the whole thing.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we just went back in time like 30 years, the three of us could have a morning zoo show?
God.
I've never done a morning zoo, but I was on radio for years, so I did do the morning show. And I have had someone, a listener, tell me that, or rather more specifically, when he recommended the show to other people, he compared it to like Morning Zoo, and was it Q107 or something?
I don't know.
Whatever here in Chicago used to have Morning Zoo stuff, and he compared the show to that, which I didn't really think it had a Morning Zoo vibe. There weren't enough spring bouncy sounds, but you know.
You got them now.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a horn.
There you go.
Yeah, of course. I got that all the time. I used to have what happened to that? I used to have the big rig truck. Used to have that one.
Maybe
I think that's just good enough.
Maybe if you wait long enough, the one will drive by.
Yeah.
And you can just have your hand ready to go.
I'll just be ready for it.
No, this is my favorite run of comics, pretty much next to like 52.
Really?
Yes,
Those
I
two things
love-
are bad.
I
Fuck off. First of all, you haven't read 52. You haven't read this either. Highly acclaimed. Oh, everybody, reevaluate your critical opinion. Mike from that podcast doesn't like it.
Nobody cares what I think.
That's true. Painfully
Anyway,
true.
but
Fucking
this, I guess, is
Garfunkel
probably
over
a
here.
kind of a polarizing thing because it's when this is a silly comic. This is a silly comic. It is a silly comic run. Again, you heard the names that I started out with. Eventually, the two writers and McGuire continue with formerly known as Justice League. I can't believe it's not the Justice League. Justice League Antarctica.
They're cold up there.
Well,
great.
it's down. That's the South.
Just a bunch of cold folks.
Cold folks having
And
a great time.
cold folks comics is what that is.
Yeah, this was Justice League issue 5. This was a request from Jay Miller. It's probably been sitting on the request wheel for quite some time because we've been busy.
Yeah, we just busy ignoring requests for years.
Well, no, not years. I'd have to check, but we did do a request not that long ago. But we were working on Supermanuary. It was an exciting time. Did you guys change your opinions on Superman? It changed
I
your
love
opinions.
Superman.
Superman is the shit.
I like how insane Superman is and how he just imposes his insanity on the world.
Yeah,
He makes
sure.
people fat with rays.
Yep. Shée, what do you think about Superman now? He's the best, right?
I guess neutral about him.
Great
But
superhero
considering
or
how
the
much I
greatest
used to
superhero?
dislike him, that's an improvement.
He's wearing you down.
I watched for the first time Superman 2, The Donner Cut. That might now be my favorite comic book movie.
Well, I'm telling you, Superman is the best.
It was really good. I loved that 90s cartoon show that Bruce Timm made. But everybody liked that show.
See, everybody's like, well, I don't like Superman except All-Star Superman and the 90s show and the Donner movies. Yeah, you like a bunch of Superman stuff.
Oh, All-Star Superman is my favorite Superman comic
Yeah.
book. I love it.
There's a whole bunch of Superman stuff that people like. Like, it just there's some stuff that's not that great. But there's thousands of comics.
I used to think that like Superman 3 was like inappropriate for the character, but after doing Supermanuary and seeing what he gets up to, that movie is actually pretty fucking accurate.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
that's
the
like with
most comic
Batman and
accurate.
Robin.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, there's a no, but what the thing is, well, I guess I can't speak for how earnestly Superman 3 was made, but Batman and Robin was
what I mean?
made. Batman and Robin was crass from like they weren't trying to make a good movie. Whereas with Superman 3, maybe they were at least attempting to. I don't know.
I don't think so.
Is that the one with Richard Pryor?
Yeah. Richard Pryor, he plays the computer programmer, and Superman gets really drunk.
Yeah, it turns into like evil Superman by like having a drink.
Yeah.
How the hell wouldn't he process it pretty quickly?
Don't think about it.
No, you can't be thinking about that.
All right.
You're ruining you're ruining several hundred memes.
Yes. You haven't seen the gifs of
I also don't know like how giving a poison to an alien would turn out.
Really
Giving a
awesome.
Yeah.
Very based.
Yeah.
That's how it'll turn out.
The most base thing. But we're in our Supermanuary hangover, and so we're going to ease off with some similar Justice League superhero adventurers in Justice League number 5.
Yeah, the wheel didn't want to let it go.
Did not want to let it go.
The wheel
This-
provided.
It did provide. Mike sounds disgruntled.
Me?
Yeah, sounds like you're-
usually always.
Yeah. This
I'm
is
a disgruntled man.
Justice League issue 5. It was renamed Justice League International 2 issues later. 1987, a book called Gray Life, Gray Dreams, and Shea already read the credits for that. So, all at the time when they relaunched Justice League, all the heavy hitters besides Batman were tied up in their own post-crisis relaunches. So this Justice League is built around a bunch of leftover doofuses, except that Denny O'Neil, out of pity, tossed them a bone and let them have Batman in the book. So Batman ends up being kind of the mentor of the situation here.
Which I just now put together that this and 52 are both about auxiliary characters, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, 52 very consciously is, yeah.
Yeah, but so is this team. And I just now put this together of like, oh.
DC has a lot of great B and C and D level characters that don't get enough attention. So
If Batman's in
Agreed.
charge of the Justice League, like in this comic, why doesn't he
Yes.
just have them all go to Gotham and clean up all the crime with their superpowers?
I don't think he wants them around. They're doofuses.
And why is he involved?
I don't know why he got involved. I haven't read that issue. Because it was pity. It was probably pity canonically as well.
I was reading
as
this
to what
book, and it just seems like Batman hired a guy to be him.
Yeah, he doesn't. Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's not in keeping with how Batman was portrayed at the time, but seeing him in this environment, in brightly lit environments, in his gray and blue suit, he is not an intimidating presence.
No, his costume looks like the costume they had in like the really old serials.
Yeah.
You know, like the
Yes.
black and white ones from way back in the day, where he's like
The
fighting
lopsided ears.
scientists in a cave. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yeah, it's not the best. It's a rough situation when Captain Marvel is the cooler looking hero in your room.
Yeah, look at him. He's a stud.
Well, he's on the
But
cover
don't
here.
lust for him. He's a child.
He is a 14-year-old child. Leave it alone.
Like all you weirdos being mad about that
creeps.
girl in the Last of Us. Calm down.
Is she 14 years old as well?
I don't know how old she actually is.
I'm gonna say hold on to that because there might be a surprisingly relevant clip at the end of the show.
Hey now.
Yeah, shockingly relevant, I would say.
What did I stumble into?
I don't know.
We'll get there. We'll get there. So anyway, on the cover here, we got Guy Gardner, who's the backup Green Lantern, the hot-headed Green Lantern.
Worst haircut ever.
Yes,
He
bowl
has
cut.
He has a bowl cut. Now, he didn't have a bowl cut when he was originally introduced, but when they revamped him for this, of the many things they changed about him, they decided to give him a bowl cut.
And that's just kind of stuck, which I love.
Yeah.
It's not even like a good bowl cut. It's one of them really short ones. It's not like he's listening to Nirvana or something.
Yeah, he doesn't look good.
It's not like a grunge guy haircut. It's just like someone gave him an old-timey bowl cut with like putting the bowl on top of his head and shaving around it.
He's also very antagonistic, though, so it almost makes me think, like, maybe he gave himself a shitty haircut because he wants someone to say something so he can beat them up.
It's like when all the Marvel characters all got curly mullets.
What?
Like, there was a while there, like, all the X-Men and all the Marvel characters in the 90s all had curly mullets.
It was more fun to draw. Like, you don't want to be drawing a bowl cut. You want to draw a giant, just web of hair on top of somebody's
Like, they
skull.
gave him such a young person haircut, but, like, he's clearly 35.
Well, in fairness, this is a guy who's been to other planets. Like, this might be a cool look in other cultures. You don't know.
I think you just get a buzz cut, considering he's in the military.
You know what's funny is, and we're recording this at the end of January, and we haven't heard the announcements from James Gunn about, like, the next line of DC properties that are coming out. So by the time this comes out, we should have some clarity on that. I don't know that there's necessarily going to be any Guy Gardner involved, but he's spoken pretty openly about reusing the actors from Guardians of the Galaxy, which makes everybody think that our good old pal Chris Pratt's eventually going to be in one of these movies.
He's gonna be the voice of Rick and Morty.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yep, both of them. No, so people have suggested that Chris Pratt might end up being either Booster Gold or Guy Gardner.
Great. Both.
Yeah, let him be both. Let him be both.
And he's going to voice Martian Manhunter and that squirrel Green Lantern.
Yeah. Oh, God, what's the squirrel's name?
Squirrely McGreeny.
He's a great Green Lantern. I saw a fan cast that I actually agreed with, which was Jared Kiso from Letterkenny as Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I don't know his name, but I'm assuming he's the guy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it's the main guy.
The main guy.
Well,
yeah.
he's super jacked.
Well, he's a healthy man. I wouldn't say he's super jacked.
No, have you not seen him shirtless?
The Rock is super jacked. All right, let's look.
Shirtless.
Let's see
look
what
at
he
this. Look at
looks
this picture of him.
All right, he better be. He's okay.
I mean, that is a pretty cut man.
He works out 5 days a week. He's all right.
5 days a week is a lot when you're also making a TV show.
He's
Several
all right.
TV shows.
He's all right.
He's a good-looking man.
He leaned out. He got kind of big and leaned out. That's not hard. You can do that. That's what you look like, James.
Yeah. Well, I'm fishing for compliments.
Like, you're as good a shape as this guy.
I'd say he's a little further along, but yeah, I'm getting there. I'm
He's
definitely
on
getting
that
there.
gas.
I'm getting
Stepping
there.
on the gas a little bit, if you know
I
what
don't
I'm
know if he's on the
saying.
gas. But my point is, he looks the part. He's already jacked enough that he can play a superhero. He already fights in Letterkenny, and we've seen he can be like an arrogant guy in his Shoresy show.
They're not gonna put Guy Gardner in these movies.
They put
are they?
Polka Dot Man. James Gunn put Polka Dot Man in a movie.
You know what the announcement's going to be? He's going to announce that he sold all the characters to Disney.
Grossly overstepping his authority.
Yeah,
Gross,
and then
misuse
Vince
of
McMahon's
power.
going to come out and say, I sold the WWE to Disney. And then the Saudis come out and go, we just bought Disney.
Yeah.
That's gonna make my streaming way easier if I just have to go to Disney Plus.
Just go to Saudi Disney Plus.
So, I do remember that way back when James and I met on the internet.
Gross.
The only way that anyone should ever
Losers.
Yeah. Ooh.
meet. No, that's the only way to meet people nowadays.
And I had put in my dating profile my fan casting for Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and that was what prompted him to message me.
Was it the Psych guys?
It was, yeah, I said my fan casting was Alan Tudyk as Ted Cord and James Roday as
This was 25
Booster
years
Gold.
ago. Yeah, 25 years ago when that would have made sense.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's I love my B and C listers of DC. They're some of my favorite characters. That's what the C in DC stands for, is C list.
All right.
And we got Martian Man. Yeah.
Wouldn't D stand for D-list?
No.
D stands for D's nuts.
Yeah, D always
Sure
stands for
do.
D's nuts.
They
It's
sure
a
do.
baffling name for a comic book company.
Yeah.
D's nuts C-list comics.
We got Martian Manhunter holding Guy Gardner back on the cover. He's got popping veins. Look at those forearms.
Yeah, why doesn't he just like shut his brain off?
He's probably just like morphing that. He has alien, Martian powers, so he can just, morph himself into having those veins.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter and Captain Marvel, neither of them need help holding this guy back.
Yeah, he's just a man, and Martian Manhunter is a Martian, and Captain Marvel is the world's mightiest mortal. So they're both way more powerful.
He has the power of 6 gods.
Well, I mean, the wisdom of Solomon doesn't make him stronger.
Well, maybe they were trying to let
to-
Guy feel a little bit bigger.
Get the wisdom to count his macros.
Yeah, well, if it fits your macros, you can eat anything you want. That's true. Yep. I don't know that.
That is...
That's what people say. I don't know that
my
it's
God.
True. No, have you not seen the if it fits your macros diet? That's a diet plan, and I heard that. I went,
get the fuck out of here, dude.
I don't know enough about nutrition to say anything, but that sounds like bullshit to me.
That's awesome.
If it fits your macros. Anyway.
I want people to listen to bad fitness advice, so I'm always in better shape.
Sure. Yeah, you want to be the most fit guy on the set. Yeah. All right. I don't know. Let's get into this. There's not a ton of story.
That's
so
what the guy on the show we were just talking about, the Canadian show.
Yeah, Jared Queso.
I know, but what was the name of the show?
Queso.
Letterkenny.
Queso right now.
That's what he's telling the fat guy. You can eat whatever you want as long as it fits in your macros, and only because he wants to stay the most shredded guy. Yeah. He just sees how big the fat guy is, and he knows if he leans out, he's gonna have a bunch of muscle. And he's like, "Well, fuck that! I'm gonna keep this dude fat. I'm gonna lie to him about his macro intake."
Yeah, that's a great way to do it. Like, you can build yourself up, or you can just tear down everyone around you.
Dude,
it's the same result.
Dude, I know a lot of fat guys, and I just know if they just cut down, like they just cut out a meal a day in 6 months, they'll be a beast.
Yeah. Well, good luck. Good luck cutting out that meal a day. I'm adding meals a day.
Just carrying around all that body fat, you build muscle.
Yeah. I'm leaning towards 5 meals.
Jesus Christ. I cut down to 2.
Yeah, I just can't stop. I can't stop. In this comic here, we're going to visit the sleepy town of Stone Ridge, Vermont.
Yeah, it makes sense to have a world-spanning superhero team here.
Well, they're not Justice League International yet. First of all, they're not Justice League International yet. And secondly, they're not in Vermont. They go to Vermont.
All right. I don't know why they care about any of this.
Batman told him to care.
Batman should care about his own problems. He's got all these serial killers in his town he refuses to murder.
What else Batman has?
Apparently, Mike is the gray man.
Yeah, seriously. Fucking gray cloud on this fucking comic book.
There is a colorless hue to these pages here in the beginning.
A little bit. Well, there's a accident happening in the town. Cars are crashing. People are bleeding gray blood. And there's a sleepy old man walking through town. He calls himself the Gray Man.
Mm-hmm. Played by my dad.
Yeah. He's wearing Guy Gardner's turtleneck. Same turtleneck. Same style.
That's why Guy is mad.
He's about to go get Guy Gardner's haircut.
He stole his drip.
Does your dad wear a turtleneck? Yeah, does he drip with a turtleneck?
No, my dad wears, he's been wearing the same plaid shirt and overalls for the last 30 years.
That seems about right. That seems what I would expect from him.
That's exactly what I was picturing.
Yeah, well, you nailed it.
Then we see descending to his castle, we see Dr. Fate. I think this might be the first time we've seen Dr. Fate in the course of the show, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I love Dr. Fate. He's one of my favorite lesser-known characters, and judging by his belt in this depiction, Dr. Fate has just won the WWE Championship.
He sure did.
So congrats.
I wouldn't call that a belt as much as high-waisted panties.
Yeah, he looks a little... The depiction here is a little strange. It goes really, really high.
He put a Spanx on the outside.
Yeah. Dr. Fate is sort of the Doctor Strange of the DC universe, and as we've seen, both of these characters like to make a lot of flimsy excuses to not get involved with things.
Mm-hmm.
They both have a tendency to just go like, well, the balance is too delicate. I'm just going to sit this one out.
That's what I do.
Yeah. Yes.
He also made a nice little appearance in Black Adam.
Yeah, he was probably the best part of Black Adam. Pierce Brosnan.
I haven't seen that yet. Heard it was great.
That Pierce Brosnan is high viscosity seat lubricant, if you ask me.
Yeah, we think when they did the screen tests and they saw him read his lines and shit, you think they would just rewrite the movie right then and there to be about him?
No, I mean he hired the director and writer. He hired all of his friends to basically write and direct the movie around him. So from day one, it was just supposed to be here's a spotlight for The Rock.
Do you think like the Warner Brothers people like are seeing it? They're like, man, they're really gonna like Pierce Brosnan and not The Rock.
Probably. I mean, it's probably the way somebody decided, you know what we should really do is bring in a couple of ringers.
Like, what are you gonna do? Because they're not gonna go further with those Black Adam movies, right? Like that was it.
He's been essentially fired.
What are you gonna do with like Pierce Brosnan though? If he was so good in the movie as Dr. Fate, what do you do with that?
Well, because spoiler alert for a movie not that many people saw, he dies in the movie, but also
right, but he's so popular though.
They'll recast him as a different character. I don't know. Pierce Brosnan probably doesn't want to sign up for 50 more of these. He's in his hundreds.
I bet he does.
I hope he does. I'm right there for him if he does. But they're, apparently wiping most, if not all, the slate clean, so none of that matters. You can be anybody you want now.
Did they do the thing that they do in superhero movies now is like whenever he's got his Dr. Fate helmet on, but he needs to talk, it nanobots away and then comes back when he's done talking?
It never nanobots. He has to physically remove it.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm excited, though, to see what eventually DC Universe cast Daniel Craig as, now that he's no longer James Bond.
What a fox. What another fox.
Because we've got Timothy Dalton. We've got Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, all the Bonds just go over to DC movies, apparently, and DC properties. Basically, the long and short Dr. Fate is that he's a dude in a helmet, the helmet of Naboo, and the helmet is actually basically Dr. Fate, and the body is just some body.
And Naboo's like a wizard from Atlantis or something?
Something like that. I don't know about from Atlantis, but he's
the younger Dryas era of history, and he died and put himself in a magic helmet.
You know what? I'm not sure about that.
I'm pretty sure that's what he did.
All right. Well, the helmet's in charge is the point here. And
the helmet's in charge.
The helmet is the real deal here. So Dr. Fate lands, he's going to enter his secret fortress, but then he hears something and he goes off to investigate it. He's hearing the Gray Man. Yeah,
the narration is done by the Gray Man, and he's spying on Dr. Fate with his powers. Can you imagine how, like, you think you're invisible, right? And you can see anyone in the world, and all of a sudden, the scariest looking motherfucker turns and looks at you.
Are we talking about the Gray Man or Dr. Fate?
Imagine, like, if I was the Gray Man and I was spying on Dr. Fate, and all of a sudden Dr. Fate, one of the most powerful men in the world, notices me.
Yeah. He seems to be looking for it. Well, we're going to get back to it. We're going to rejoin that plot thread shortly, but Dr. Fate goes off to go see what this Gray Man's all about. Meanwhile...
He yeeted away.
Gross. Meanwhile, we check back in with Jack Ryder, who is secretly the Creeper.
The Creeper.
Mm-hmm.
The Creeper. So Jack Ryder, he masquerades as a television host on a show called Jack Ryder's Hot Seat, where he talks about how much he hates superheroes, but at night he's secretly kind of sort of a superhero himself.
That'd be Joe Biden's superhero name.
The Creeper, who sniffs women in elevators. Fucking creep. What are you doing?
Well, Jack Ryder's more, isn't he more of like a freakazoid style?
Yeah,
he's into the Creeper.
Yeah, he turns into, he's conscious of who he is.
That show was so good. I loved Freakazoid.
I never watched Freakazoid. I don't know why.
So good.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's pretty much Mad Men.
You know, a note I found out, I hadn't heard this before, on the Creeper's original origin, which had been retconned after Post-Crisis. But originally, Jack Ryder, he was a former Gotham City resident and the host of a political talk show, and he was fired after criticizing his own sponsors on air and refusing to change his behavior or apologize.
Based Jack Ryder. I like this guy now.
So that was the original origin of Jack Ryder. Sent him down a dark path, turning into the Creeper. As we'll see in a little bit exactly what the Creeper does. But right now, he's just an angry political commentator on TV. Doesn't like superheroes.
Nope. Me neither.
Yeah. Why not? You know, what's there to like? Except for Superman.
I want to hear more about what this Jack Ryder has to say.
He's got a lot of controversial opinions. He doesn't like capes.
Probably because it gets ratings. It's clickbait.
You know, it's much like Sean Hannity going on Fox News and perpetrating election lies, and then behind the scenes saying, "Oh yeah, of course Trump lost the election."
He's doing the superhero version of the Manosphere.
Is that like where Andrew Tate is? Is that the Manosphere?
No, Andrew Tate's in jail.
It's probably out by the time we...
I don't think he's real. I don't think he's real, and I don't think Greta Thornberg is real. I think they're both AI.
Thornberg? Yeah, they might be AI. I mean, we're getting pretty close.
Neither of them look like real people.
Yeah.
And I haven't met either of them.
You know, as AI continues to increase, I am starting to think that real people look a little less real. You know what I'm saying? Like, real people are starting to hit the uncanny valley for me, and I think we're going to come to a nice equilibrium where everybody, real or AI, is going to look the same.
I think it's because real people have a shit ton of plastic in their blood.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're lucky, they get the plastic injected into their face. They can look young forever.
Granddad had lead, and we get plastic.
Well, there's a lot of fun things you can do with plastic.
I wonder what the next folks are going to get.
There aren't going to be any more next folks. Anyway, so
look at Mike over here.
Yeah, I know. I know it would make you happy and would move things along.
It did kind of shoot up my spine.
A little shiver.
A little bit of like
little
dopamine and serotonin my brain allows me to have, and that just like so it's always like whenever I have it, it's always like a shock.
Yeah. A little reinforcement, a little positive reinforcement.
Whoa.
Like you're trying to house train a bunny. Sure. Yeah. So yeah, they cut the show and they wrap everything up, and we see Jack Ryder's kind of a dick to everybody for no reason. I love how
like Jack Ryder's director is fucking super into the show.
Yes. Well, he's very clearly making it known that the show
has wrapped. Look at that excellent profile photo.
Yeah, well, you'll be seeing that on the Twitter. So as Jack Ryder is leaving the set, some very unfortunate looking guy, looks like Clint Howard with a mullet.
It looks like the Eastbound and Down.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny Powers.
So Kenny Powers, sure. Kenny Powers comes up and he tells Jack Ryder, "Hey man, I got a lead that there's some shit going down in this town in Vermont, and Dr. Fate showed up. I know you don't care for these superheroes. Maybe you want to follow up on this, right?"
He's got a Late Night with David Letterman shirt on.
Sweet. He's me. He's a young me.
That's what his face is looking like. It's Letterman's.
Oh yeah, they may have given him the eyebrow ridge and the tooth gap of David Letterman.
Yeah, and they gave him a '90s Marvel Comics haircut.
They did. They kind of did.
He's joined X Factor.
So first of all, Jack Ryder looks directly at the camera, which is creepy, breaking the fourth wall there. That's why he's the creeper, I guess.
Yep.
And he basically gives this guy $100 to shut up about this story because he wants to investigate it personally.
Jack Ryder looks like he nut taps everybody.
Yes, he does.
Such a rude move.
And I know that because I too nut tap everybody.
He could be played by John Hamm.
That's why I have to wear a codpiece everywhere now.
I mean, he should be played by Jim Carrey.
Well, 20 years ago, Jim Carrey.
Yeah, 20 years ago, Jim Carrey should have been Jack Ryder / the Creeper.
/ Plastic Man. There's a lot of things he should have done back in the day.
Yeah, you know what? Speaking of being born in the wrong time and doing the wrong thing, that's Jim Carrey. He missed out on all the modern day superhero roles that he would just knocked out of the goddamn park.
Absolutely true, but at the same time, it's not like his career went poorly by blossoming.
I know,
in the
but
90s.
he did The Mask.
He did The Mask. He did the Ace Ventura movies. He did all that kind of stuff. And I haven't watched Ace Ventura movies since I was a kid. I wasn't.
They're bad. They're not.
That's
not
the
worth
thing.
Watching.
I had recently heard that. I think it's the first one, maybe the second one. I don't know. But there's a big twist that the female character was transsexual, and they make a huge joke out of it to the point
everyone because apparently she sucked everyone's dick in the movie, so everyone starts throwing up when they realize that guys suck their dick. Like it's a huge deal.
And I guess they made a whole meal out of this in the movie, and it's aged very poorly.
I mean, you got your dick sucked. What's the big deal?
It is aged very poorly.
The 90s were a very different time.
I mean, you could be pretty with a dick. It's fine.
Maybe we can AI Jim Carrey into these Plastic Man movies.
Or the Creeper.
Well, if it's AI, he can do both.
Honestly, he could have been Booster Gold, too. He could have played all the lighthearted characters.
He could have been Speedball over in Marvel. He could have done all kinds of things.
Yeah, especially when he killed all those kids and turned into that BDSM guy. That's so dumb. Way to ruin a character.
You know about Penance, Shée?
What do you mean?
Well, okay, apparently you don't. At the beginning of Civil War, Speedball, lighthearted goofball Speedball, inadvertently gets a bunch of people killed. And so at the end of Civil War, in order to punish himself...
He's
got
spikes.
He has an Iron Maiden suit with a bunch of spikes, one for each person that he's responsible for, and that activates his power, so he's constantly being poked with spikes.
When you said Iron Maiden suit, I just thought of the character Speedball wearing a 3-piece suit with just Iron Maiden album covers.
Yeah, I knew you'd think of that. Yeah.
You know?
Oh, don't think I don't know.
It's like
don't
screen
think I don't know
printed
your
onto the suit.
I don't think I don't know where your mind is.
And his name is Speedball, so a lot of guys who like Iron Maiden love that drug.
Yeah.
I know, because I loved Iron Maiden and I loved Speedballs.
They mostly like home cooked meth. They like that down home flavor of meth, not that fancy corporate meth. They want to taste the AAA
Hey,
battery.
I had class. My meth was prescribed by a doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until it wasn't. Wink.
Dumb. All right. So then we get the Gray Man's soliloquy.
Yep.
And he's dressed in a smart jacket. He's also kind of wearing Guy Gardner's jacket. He's really dressed like Guy Gardner here.
Maybe he's Guy Gardner from the future.
Wow, maybe that's
because he's twist. The Gray Man because he no longer has his Green Lantern ring.
Oh, he lost his Green Lantern and then his hair went gray. Ah, that's a terrible thing.
I didn't read this whole arc. Shée, is what I just said better than what they actually did?
Is it better than the truth?
You wouldn't give it to me. You know what, Shée? I don't believe that you would give it to me even if you agreed.
Yeah, you're not going to let up on this.
I don't because I like what happens with Guy Gardner in this arc.
All right.
I think my headcanon, he turns into the Gray Man.
Well, that's fine. You're entitled to be wrong.
And he's better because he fixed that stupid ass fucking haircut.
He did. Well, he did kind of grow it out to sort of like a Rob Blagojevich thing.
Yee ass haircut.
So he starts ranting and raving, and he's presumably talking to Dr. Fate, and he's saying he's been locked away in this old theater, and he's been locked away for hundreds of years in a gray, dreamless world.
Mm-hmm.
He can't sleep, he can't dream, he can't have a good time. He's having a rough go of it.
Wait, he lives forever and he doesn't have to go to sleep? How's that bad?
Well, because he still has to go to work. Still gotta have a job.
I mean, is he tired? I mean, I imagine if you're always tired because you can't sleep.
That is definitely rough.
Like that. Well, yeah, it's insomnia. It's a disease. It's terrible.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I've been up every day working on Supermanuary shit for the past month. I know what it's like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Those streams that I've been doing on Wednesdays have been going from like 5 p.m. to 7 a.m. So I know how you feel. You
can jump on that. You can jump on the Twitch Dark Side's Couch stream. You can go on YouTube and see all the dumb bullshit we've been making. Oh, well, you can, but now Supermanuary is over, so it's irrelevant.
Oh, I'm still doing that shit. I'm not going to stop. They've been fun.
All right, well, there we go.
I already got a stream plan for this guy.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah, I'm already gonna. I got a whole theme for this dude too. I'm doing it.
Doing it. All right. So the Gray Man is yelling at Dr. Fate, who's just kind of floating there ominously, not paying him any respect.
Yep, and he's just letting him know that he's in control.
He is in control, and then he tells us his supervillain origin story.
Yep, which is the same origin story of the guy who hangs out with the Badger.
Oh, is it the Count?
He's like that wizard.
Yeah.
That got sent to the future, or he got frozen in time or sent to the future or something.
Yeah, he's got a funny name. Oh, that was enjoyable. Yeah, Mike Barron's Badger. I accidentally called him Mike Barr in the previous episode because we bring up the Badger a lot.
Yep.
It's a great book.
And that's why he's suing us now for defamation.
No. We've done nothing but talk up the... In fact, I went and bought a collection of Dead Man books written by Mike Barron because they were so good. I was so excited. And they are fucked up. Go buy that. It's Kelly Jones illustrations of Mike Barron's scripts for Dead Man. There's a great collection of them. And they're if you like D and C list DC characters written in a fucked up manner where they don't have to care about continuity or anything, oh man, those are enjoyable.
As you guys know, I hate continuity.
You do hate continuity, except for continuity comics.
No, those are great because there's very little continuity.
Yes. Well, we discussed why it was called continuity comics is because it was originally designed to get illustrators work, comic book illustrators work in between comic book projects. So
their paychecks will remain in continuity.
In continuity, exactly. But the Gray Man's origin is, he was like a druid mystic guy.
Yeah.
And he pushed it too far, and he found out about the Lords of Order.
Yeah, the Lords of Order get it really upset that he used these magic spells to reach the highest echelon of existence. And they're like, you don't belong here, cursed forever. He didn't know this was going to happen.
It's the story of Icarus.
But still, all he was doing,
close to the sun.
All he was doing was like he's just like, oh, there's another level of consciousness. Oh, hey, there's another one above that. There's another one above that. I wonder what's above this next level of consciousness. And all of a sudden, there's a fucking orange ink blot that goes like, you don't belong here, bro. Gray forever.
Well, I guess the Lords of Order are making a point. They're making an example out of him. It's not personal.
The Lords of Order are dicks.
The Lords of Order are my favorite nu metal band, and I won't have you denigrating their name.
They're the 1%ers.
Yeah. So they decide to punish this guy. They
For
turn
no
him into
reason.
the Gray Man. Well, they're sending a message. And his deal now is he's never allowed to sleep. He's confined to this island somewhere. He can't sleep, and it's his job to send out these avatars that look exactly like him, that are just like these, they're just mind-controlled zombies that go out into the world, and they need to collect leftover dream essence to gather it up and return it to the Order's realm.
Yeah, the Lords of Order are the real villains.
Yeah.
In this. Like they're vampires. They're
the end
need
boss.
to eat. They need to eat the dreams of the dead in order to gain their power, and so they enslave this man who's just asking questions.
Why aren't we allowed to ask questions?
And they decided to force him to never sleep, create avatars of himself to collect this shit, and then he decided he's had enough, and we're supposed to treat him like he's the bad guy here.
Well, he strikes out quite like if he struck out against the Lords of Order, okay, fine.
He is.
He's striking out against regular humans.
He's
in
striking
Vermont.
out right now. He's striking out against Dr. Fate, who's an agent of the Lords of Order.
I don't know that he's an agent of the Lords of Order.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Let's look that up. Look up if Dr. Fate is an agent of the Lords of Order. I bet he is.
I bet he's not. He might be. Let's see. Dr. Fate, Lords of Order. The Lords of Order are generally known as the source of the power of Dr. Fate. They were created in the mid-'70s when Fate was already established. I think, retroactively. Okay, fine. So is Dr. Fate a Lord of Order? An agent of the Lords of Order? Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty conclusive.
Bam.
No wiggle room there. All right, fine. So he's an agent of the Lords of Order. And the Gray Man has decided that, what he's been doing is he's been secretly saving some of the dream essence, because I guess the dream essence of man is called mana by the gods, and it forms the very fabric of mystic energy. So he's been covertly stealing a little bit of himself, skimming a little off the top, like, you work at McDonald's, you steal a few fries. He's been taking a little for himself, bringing it home, and now he can generate his own magic that can challenge the Lords of Order themselves.
I like this, right? He learns, he teaches himself magic to get on the same playing field as the Lords of Order. They punish him for it, and then he just does exactly what they're doing to gain their powers, and we're supposed to think he's a bad guy.
You're making a decent case. Well, you're making a case that maybe all these guys need to go away.
Yeah, they're all pieces of shit. That's why I agree with Zack Ryder, based Zack Ryder.
Yeah, Zack Ryder's getting it done. He looks fabulous, too. He's not wearing a goofy belt up to his
I tell you
nose.
who's the creeper, the creepy-ass Lords of Order stealing my mana out of my dick while I'm asleep.
Yep, it does shoot out of your dick. That is the way it happens.
Lords of Order coming into my bedroom at night, just sucking on the tip.
A little bit of pre-dream coming out, yep.
Yeah, they're taking my pre-dream.
It's the best part of it.
I didn't know what we were going to joke about in this comic. I didn't think anything happened.
No, things always come. I figured something would come about.
I was reading this book yesterday. I was just like, the fuck are we going to joke about?
No. Considering like 70% of the episode is not usually about the comic anyway, I wasn't worried. But yeah, there's not a ton of story in this, but what's there is enjoyable. So anyway, so what the Gray Man is going to do, he hasn't decided quite yet, but what he thinks he's going to do is set all of his zombie Gray Men loose and let them do their own thing rather than just follow him, which means they're going to go and they're going to rob all the dreams of the living and basically plunge the entire world into madness.
One of these panels, he looks like, while he's talking to Dr. Fate, he goes, want to see my impression of a pig? And then makes a pig face.
He does do a little suey. A little suey?
Dr. Fate's like...
Yeah, McGuire really
That is
leaned
pretty
into
good.
making this man wrinkly.
Dr. Fate goes, your random impression of a pig is not orderly.
And then he banishes him for
He
a
like
1,000
spends
millennia.
he just spends all of his time organizing his house.
It's it's a very Spartan arrangement.
Dr. Fate, his real power is being OCD.
I love Dr. Fate, and I love Pierce Brosnan. I like his weird little goatee Van Dyke thing that he had going.
I'm gonna have to see that movie.
He is really good in it. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I like Dr. Fate. I think
I can't imagine it's good.
It's fun. It's a movie that should have came out in 2006. Had it come out in 2006, it would have been fine. It's just things have changed so much since when it was originally conceived to now that people.
A bad
expect
movie
things a little
now
more
is
involved.
going to be a bad movie in 2006.
Well, it's not a bad movie or a great movie. It's just a superhero movie. It's just a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And,
Superhero movies can be good.
They can be good, but a lot of them, most of them, are just kind of there.
No, there's 3 good ones. There's the Donner cut of Superman 2,
Yep.
Spider-Man 1, and the 1989 Batman movie.
You left out both The Dark Knight and Dredd.
Oh, yeah. Dread's is barely based off that comic book, though.
It's still a comic book character.
Like, people, it drives me crazy. People are like, Dredd is so accurate to the comic. It is not. Not
This
at
is
all.
Actually, you've said this before. We've had this conversation before, which is why.
Don't waste my motherfucking time!
That's why I get
Sorry,
to use
Al
that.
Pacino. You're
I'm
right.
surprised you
fine.
didn't say like V for Vendetta.
V for Vendetta. I mean, I'm going to defend Watchmen. Misunderstood.
Yeah, Watchmen's really good, especially if you watch like the 4-hour version.
Yeah, you got to watch the full version.
And I like the original Ninja Turtles movie. That's probably my favorite comic book movie.
There are a lot of good.
It holds up.
That one's so good, right?
I'm gonna throw out Birds of Prey because it's fantastic.
Remember the part where they're like having a campfire and like Splinter like talks to them in the fire? Remember that? They
Yes.
like eat mushrooms and trip out about Splinter.
I do remember. Yeah, they don't eat mushrooms.
I
We've got
assume that's
Ninja
what they
Turtle
did.
Boys. Like,
I
what do you
assume that's what they did.
I think they meditate.
All right. We're
Yeah,
getting
me
on
too.
with this.
I'm meditating.
We're finally getting to where we come in on the cover here.
Yeah.
At Justice League headquarters, Guy Gardner is having a fight with Batman while everyone stands around with their O faces.
Well, not everyone.
Yeah.
It's
So I got
three
some-
other people.
I got some questions about
Sure.
what's going on here. All right, so
Right.
Batman is the leader of the Justice League, right?
Right.
Okay, do they know he's Bruce Wayne?
You know what? That's a good question. I don't think they do.
Okay,
No.
because like I imagine he wouldn't be dressed up like this.
Well,
Because he's
they've
wearing
got-
his because his costume, especially when it's like gray and blue and it looks like tights, looks goofy as fuck in the daytime.
No, it doesn't work in a bright environment, which is why most Batman movies are in the dark.
Like I just assumed he would show up to work. Because as the leader of the Justice League, I imagine that Batman wouldn't physically do a whole lot.
No, he would just email.
He
tell
would
people
just
where they need to
like
be.
delegate.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised he didn't send a Robin out instead.
And he would also sit down with Mr. Miracle and explain to him why his magic tricks aren't any good.
So, all right. So let's look at who else we've got in the room at this point. We've got Guy Gardner, who we've established as the backup Green Lantern. We've got Mr. Miracle, who we have seen a little bit of before. Another
Yeah,
favorite
Scott
character of mine.
Free.
Scott Free, one of the new gods who made his way to Earth.
I love those comics.
I do too. Those are fantastic comics. And also, a very, very different vibe, but also Tom King's Mr. Miracle miniseries, maxi series, 12 issues, is one of my favorite comic book things that's ever existed.
It's really good.
It is really, really good.
And I love the background. We got Captain Marvel, who's like, oh, you're going to get it.
Yep. Captain Marvel, who is a 14-year-old boy in a grown man's body, right?
Just like me and James.
Why not me?
All right, you're a 14-year-old boy in a grown man's body.
Yeah.
You get to be part of the club.
You ever been in a grown man's body? You want to be?
You want to cut me open and crawl inside?
Always.
I'm going to
I
get
used
that
to
joke
threaten
right
pe-
one of these days.
One time some guy pissed me off. I told him I was going to cut open his belly and stick my feet in the stomach and then walk around his house like a family circus cartoon.
So what I told Shée right before we started recording, she did something to piss me off. So I grabbed her wrist and I told her that what I was going to do is I was going to rip her sweater off thread by thread and then rip her skin off thread by thread and then re-sew the sweater with her skin and re-sew the skin with the sweater and then make her wear a sweater of skin over her skin of sweater.
And it's also going to be really humiliating because you're going to need to ask her help about all that too.
Yeah, I don't know
When
how
it
to
comes
do
the-
those things.
Comes to the knitting.
Yeah, that's what James thought was cute and funny.
I'm establishing that I will not be pushed around.
When we say that he's a 14-year-old boy in a man's body, we emphasize the man.
Yes,
And
really
men
pushing
are
on the man.
horrifically violent.
That was the tamest thing I could think of. And then we got Booster Gold, who we've seen before, who's a favorite of mine, a favorite of Shay's, probably a favorite of Mike's. I don't know. We had a
Yeah,
good time with him.
Yeah.
Crypto
He's
man?
back in time to invest in Bitcoin.
That's really 95% true. Like
Because he knows when it's going to take off and then
Yep.
when it's going to peter out into nothing, which was 2 years ago.
The origin story of Booster Gold is pretty much, hey, what if he actually did what they talked about or what Biff did in
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future 2.
Or do what Mike would want to do always.
Not really, because if you go back in time and just by being back in time, you've already created an alternate reality and you are now cut off from your home. You'll
Yeah, I'm
never
not
be able to
sure
go back.
How the time travel rules applied with Booster. But yeah, he was betting on sports illegally. And I think they went to take his hands or something. And so
How was it illegally?
I don't know. Because I think maybe I don't know what he was doing.
Did
had
he
some,
swing it?
What?
Did Booster Gold, like, because he not swing, what's it called? When he purposely
it.
loses the game. Rig. No.
Oh,
there's another
he
word I'm thinking
throws
of.
the game.
Throws. That's
Oh,
what I
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
think of.
I don't remember. I don't remember. But yeah, he was being threatened because he wasn't able to pay his gambling debts, and so he used technology that he found in the superhero museum in the future to come back to the past, and decided, oh, since I know what happens, I will just be a superhero, and I'll just become rich and famous that way. And it doesn't quite work out because he's also a doofus.
Wait, because his time machine is also his costume, correct? Like he puts on that costume in the superhero museum, and then he uses it to go back in time. I imagine though, like that costume is his from when he went back in time and became a superhero, and then he retires or dies, and they put the costume in the museum, and then him in the future steals it and comes back.
Yeah, it's probably a time loop. It's probably a time loop. Yeah,
like he's a paradox.
He is a time paradox. I love him. He's a quality character.
Well, does he steal the costume or does he just steal the technology?
You know what? I have not read.
I thought the costume was the technology.
No, Skeets is like the technology.
Well, the costume is part of the technology as well. His gauntlets.
Wow,
and
you did not know that character existed, did you?
I forgot his name was Skeets.
Skeets is the man.
And
you know who's going to be voicing Skeets? Oh, it's Chris Pratt.
Fry. Oh, yeah. I know Fry does the voice of him in all the cartoons.
Yeah, that would be logical.
Billy
but no,
West.
it's Chris Pratt.
Billy
Chris
West.
Pratt.
Yeah, Chris Pratt.
So Guy Gardner is angry. He thinks that he should be the leader of the team instead of Batman. So he's antagonizing Batman while everybody watches on.
Yeah. Who's playing Batman? Chris Pratt.
Of course. I thought that was just a given.
James Gunn's DC Universe.
Yep.
Starring Chris Pratt.
And so it's really the Prattiverse, the Chris Prattiverse. So Batman antagonizes Guy Gardner. Guy Gardner takes off his ring, gives it to Blue Beetle, who we're gonna see in a moment as well, and says, "Yeah, I'm gonna punch out Batman. We're gonna go man to man without any superpowers."
In my head, he hands Blue Beetle the power ring, right? And he slips it on and gives himself a Green Lantern cartoonishly large penis, and he starts laughing and swinging it around. Hey guys, look at this!
That's becoming really close to being what we might actually see one of these days. It's getting dangerously close to that might be.
I think that actually was a scene in the script they wrote for the Jack Black Green Lantern movie they never made.
I definitely can believe that for sure.
That was the original plan, was that they were going to make a comedy with Jack Black. Yeah,
I remember.
He was going to make jokes about having a big Green Lantern dick.
I don't know if that script ever leaked, though. If that script's out, I would be curious to read it.
I just remember like that scene in particular was the reason why they didn't make it.
I can't imagine that's the one. That's probably not the one reason.
They were like, all right, what else you got? How about Ryan Reynolds in a normal movie? All right.
Yeah, how about that?
All right, no one liked it, but they would have loved the Jack Black Green Lantern movie.
An alternate universe, I don't know how that would have done. So
that's what I would do with the time machine and traveling to the alternate universes. I just want to see how the fucked up version of these movies are.
Well, we're getting there. We're going to get around to all of them. All of these characters are going to get their own mini franchise. Every single one.
No, they're not.
Every one.
I really enjoy on this page, though, Captain Marvel's character. He's a great character. I'm tying this back to the book now.
Yeah, somebody should.
Because he tells Batman, you have to be the bigger man. Don't fight him. Because he's a 14-year-old boy in a man's body. And Batman pretty much says, I know what I'm doing. You're a 14-year-old boy in a man's body.
Yeah.
And so
called him out.
Captain Marvel harumps his way off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he grabs Batman by the cape and yeets him into space.
Yeah.
Did I see that movie? I wonder if I actually saw the...
Well, you liked it at the time.
Did I see it and said I liked it?
Yeah, you said it. You saw it and said you liked it, but you don't register anything.
I also don't remember it very well.
Right through you.
Also, they do call Shazam Captain Marvel throughout this comic.
Well, yeah, he's Captain Marvel.
He is Captain Marvel at this time. Yeah.
Yes. I'm just laying that down.
I mean,
my grandfather once told me he was in a Captain Marvel child's fan club.
That's adorable.
It's
in the 40s.
People don't realize this, but yeah, Captain Marvel was extremely popular back in the day for a while there.
Me and my brother were playing with our Marvel trading cards as a kid, and my grandfather told us about his love of Captain Marvel.
Yep. And Marvel made their own Captain Marvel just because I believe the copyright had lapsed. So they're like, well, we got to jump on this and get our own Captain Marvel in the game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was basically the same.
So he storms off, and then Guy Gardner lunges at Batman, and this is the moment that I think had Jay send this to us as a request.
Yeah.
And Batman one punches Guy Gardner in the nose.
Yes, the infamous one punch.
There's a panel where he like lunges at Batman and goes, "I bite." That's not what you want to see when someone's about to suck your dick.
All right.
That's the Lords of Chaos coming at my dick at night for my dreams.
Right. Well, it's the Lords of Order.
The Lords of Order, right? Lords of Chaos is that movie about that black metal band.
You've been letting the wrong lords take your semen. you've been leaving semen out like some sort of ejaculate Santa Claus this whole time.
No, I'm a dream slut.
Yeah, you are.
I don't care who takes
I'm a victim, Shée. I was asleep.
I don't care what 10th dimensional entity takes it from me.
Right? Come and get it, boys.
I'll give it to any occult entity.
Suck you bust, and more like suck you be me.
Gross. All gross.
I'll be not afraid.
All of it.
Wrong!
Oh, that's a classic sound effect we haven't heard in a long time.
Just hitting buttons.
That just means I haven't been wrong in a long time.
As I lay me down to sleep, I pray the Lord my come to keep. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my come to take.
See, now I'd like to note that Shée is usually the one that wants us to just move on and get over with so she can have another soda. And now here she is doing cum limericks.
How little hair is on top of Guy Gardner's head for that bowl cut? Because it's moving around now, right? And you can is he doing this to hide a receding hairline?
It could be.
Because look how old he is.
Well, and it looks like, well, one, his nose is getting flattened, but it also looks like his hair is very thin.
What if
Very
like
fine,
so Batman cracks him in the bridge of the nose, right, which will break your nose, and your
Absolutely.
and if you try to breathe out of your nose, your eye sockets will fill with blood, and since he's lying on his back unconscious, he's probably dying.
You know, this is something that I noted when I read this is, they just leave him on the floor.
Right, he's gonna drown in his own blood.
Batman
literally.
knew how to punch him so that none of that happened.
Batman's like, I won't kill the Joker because he's actually fucking cool.
I don't want the guy with
the... He just punched a man with a bowl cut and green Uggs.
and a sweater underneath his vest.
Yeah, and he can make that costume look like however he wants, and he chooses that.
Nope, this is what he picked.
Bro, what a jabroni.
There are a lot of planets where this is very fashionable.
We have a Guy Gardner book on the request wheel.
We do.
Like a legit one.
I think it's from Charles. I think it's from Shay's brother.
Yeah, and it's been on there for 3 years.
Well...
You know, keep
maybe
asking for requests.
Maybe next time.
And it's like, and we go like, why come people aren't sending us more requests?
Well, because we know Charles is listening anyway.
Because we don't fucking do them. That's why they're not sending them.
If people say, look, if we get a bunch of requests, we will make every other episode a request if we start getting them. We don't have that many. And a lot of them are from the same people.
So...
Yeah,
so they're wonderful people, but it's not like we have 1,000 different people sending in requests.
Thanks for being a fan, but fuck you.
Yeah, that's what Jake said.
It's people we already got. Listen,
We don't need to keep.
This is the equivalent of like when you ask somebody you know if you look okay, and when they tell you you do, your response is, "Well, you have to say that."
This is like open the door.
What the fuck?
This is like your cat wanting to go outside. You open the door up, and then the cat just wants to come right back in.
Yeah. Listen,
yeah, Demo does that.
Delivering high octane content here. They're getting what they asked for, which is great content.
You saw the way that they're dressed.
Guy Gardner got what he was asking for, which was one punch.
He's wearing. You're right though. He is wearing fucking UGG boots.
Yeah. So Guy gets laid out, and as Batman decides, all right, well, we've dealt with him, so we can actually have a legitimate team meeting. But as that's happening, Martian Manhunter and Black Canary walk in.
It looks like so. There's a panel after Guy Gardner gets punched where it's overhead, and it looks like everyone with a cape is about to spin around to show off the.
Yeah, it's a dance.
You know, it's like in a musical where you can see their dresses billow out.
Yeah.
Well, they're graceful. They've got a lot of floor space. That's expensive headquarters.
Is the Justice League headquarters at a old abandoned Pizza Hut?
It is in a building at one point. I don't know if at this point it was in a house.
It does have white and red check tiles.
Because look, it's like Mr. Miracle and the Blue Beetle are resting against what used to be a buffet table.
Well, yeah, they're leaning against the sneeze guard. Yeah.
It's like when you go to Pizza Hut at noon and you can get that all-you-can-eat deal.
Oh, that's a good deal.
Dude, when I was a kid, that was the shit. We used to skip school and go get that.
And you had your book it program. You really had everything going down at the pizza shop.
Yep.
At the Pizza Hut. So yeah, Martian Manhunter and Black Canary come in. Black Canary wearing her horrendous 80s outfit.
Oh, it's bad.
That at least it's not sexualized. She looks like she's wearing a fucking potato sack, but at least it's not sexualized.
She looks like Goth Dazzler.
Yes.
Yeah. She's got, it's hard. I don't even know how to describe it. She's got the big flared out white boots, and then she's got this chest piece that is bigger than her chest, like she ordered the wrong size.
She looks like she was really, really excited to be on a team with Batman, so she called Nightwing and asked for like advice on what the costume should be.
It does look like an alternate Nightwing cut.
And this was during his like high collar days.
Yeah, he's trying to figure it out.
Like,
still.
you need some flair, bitch.
Well, and she's got feathered hair,
shoulder pads,
and a headband.
Yeah,
but like when they wear the headband across the forehead.
Yeah.
She goes, you got a V-neck? She goes, no, I don't. He goes, well, what else you got?
Yeah.
It's like she 3D printed a chest emblem too large and only had enough material to do it once.
You think
but
Nightwing...
more importantly in this scene is that Ted Kord's having to wipe away tears from still laughing so hard at the one punch.
You think when like Nightwing showed up with his like new Nightwing costume after not being Robin anymore, and he goes to the Batcave and Batman's like, the fuck is this?
You are not going out like that.
Like,
I'm not taking you out.
He goes, I'm hiring new Robins immediately.
So you won't wear a cape because it's not aerodynamic, but you'll wear that god-awful disco porn collar. Sure.
You look like an asshole. I didn't raise you to be this way.
Get the fuck out of my cave.
Hey, guys. Mm-hmm. Does this make Guy Gardner One Punch Man or Batman One Punch Man?
Batman's One Punch Man, for sure. Too bad you don't got that song, James. The One Punch Man song.
Oh, you mean the song right here? Yeah, faked you out. It may or may not be in the YouTube, depending on if I can figure out what the hell that is, and if YouTube doesn't have a problem.
You don't know what One Punch Man is? It's an anime.
I don't have time for anime. I got books to read. I got goofy videos to make. I got too much shit going on.
Dude, One Punch Man fucking is an awesome
anime
show.
Anime is way down the list of things I got time for.
Yeah, but it's like superhero shit. I figured you'd love One Punch Man.
I got enough superheroes.
All right.
Mostly these ones.
All right. I think you're just racist against the Japanese, personally.
Yep, that's probably what it is.
I can't think of anything else.
That's Occam's razor. That's the simplest explanation.
Right? Like, you love superheroes. There's a really funny superhero TV show, but you won't watch it because it ain't in English.
Oh, it's a TV show? I thought, oh, God, now I got to watch it. No, I don't have time for a TV show. That's
it was an anime.
I thought it was a comic I could pick up.
I mean, it's based off of a comic book, yes.
Yeah, well, maybe if I can read it. I don't have
But
time
why
for
would there be a
show.
song for a comic book?
I guess that's a good question.
That's a good question.
Martian Manhunter and Black Canary enter, and Black Canary, who has been the victim of Guy Gardner's misogynistic comments for months now, is angry and upset that she missed him getting punched out by Batman.
Yes.
You think there'd be at any point Martian Manhunter would just take control of everyone's minds and just say, calm down?
No, because he's kind of enjoying it. He's kind of...
I think he doesn't have psychic powers and he's just been pretending. He just told everyone that's his power. I bet he's not from Mars. I bet he has no powers at all.
Wow, and you can see his green makeup running sometimes.
Uh-huh. But Batman's already deduced it. He just doesn't give a fuck.
This is why he doesn't go out in the sun.
Because he just wanted to live in a Pizza Hut.
It does make sense that's why Martian Manhunter doesn't like fire.
This comic book feels like none of these people are the actual superheroes. Like they're cosplayers.
Copycats.
Like they're just like, we're the Justice League now.
I could definitely believe that.
Like they're at an old Pizza Hut, right? None of them's got powers. And I haven't seen any of them use powers as of yet, besides Dr. Fate, who's not there.
Who's not hanging out with them, no. And they don't have an Alfred. Instead, they have Oberon.
Yeah, Oberon's cool, though.
Oberon is cool. He's a little dude who hangs out with Mr. Miracle, helps him out with his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Oberon's story is that he was the original Mr. Miracle, who was just some guy in the first issue of Mr. Miracle. He was just an escape artist who wore that costume. And Oberon was his assistant, and he died. And then Scott Free showed up and said, well, I guess I'll just take this costume and be Mr. Miracle. And Oberon said, I'll just stick around and be your assistant then.
Wait, Oberon's not from New Genesis?
No, he's just a guy.
What?
He's just some dude.
I thought he was from... Then why does he look like he's from New Genesis?
Because he's got the munchops.
He's a tiny little dude with funky hair. That's all the people from New Genesis.
That's probably why Scott Free zeroed in on him. But thank God, another survivor.
What the fuck? My mind's blown. Does he live on New Genesis now?
No, he lives on Earth. He's just a guy.
What the fuck?
He's just this little dude who hangs out and helps escape artists.
That's fucking dumb.
But I guess they...
I thought he was just some... I knew he was Scott Free's manager. I didn't know that. I just thought that he was also from New Genesis.
No. Nope.
Well, Scott Free's from Apocalypse, but you know what I mean.
He's just some dude. And he runs up to Batman and he says, hey, the monitor, the computer monitor wants to talk to you. And Batman is shocked and aghast because they don't have Google yet.
And Batman's really pissed off that the dark colors in his shirt washed away.
Yeah, he's wearing his grayest shirt.
Like, that is practically white. It's
like he kind of mismatched. Like, that's the shirt that he washes too often, and he only brings it out when he has to.
It looks like a Batman costume from those Batman the Animated Series action figures that weren't in the show.
Oh, yeah, when they had to come up with ways to resell. Because he always had to have, like, 2 Batmans in every wave.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's only so many ways we can have him pose. Eventually
BMX Batman. You know?
Snow Patrol Batman, yeah.
You know, Scuba Batman.
Desert Assault Batman. Sky Raider Batman.
The desert is safe from the Joker. And then the kid, like, uses the toy to punch the toy Joker.
Go get him, Batman.
I can remember that, but I mean, nothing useful.
Those commercials worked on me. They absolutely worked on me.
All that stupid garbage that my brain retained has been useful doing this show. Yeah. It's like all the worthless information I've collected over the years has been of use.
Finally come together into something. So then we see that the monitor is literally talking to Batman, and I think it's actually physically like forming lips. Like Dr. Fate's lips are coming out of the monitor, it appears.
Which is funny because you can't actually see Dr. Fate's lips.
Yeah, I'm assuming the helmet has been removed. I don't know what's going on. We only see a big pair of lips on the screen.
Batman's just like, he goes, Batman, turn around. And he's like, turns around, he goes, is that Pierce Brosnan's lips?
And then leans in to give him kisses.
Gives him a little kiss.
Because it's the thing, is that the lips are, he could kiss it. This is some Videodrome shit.
You put your head in there.
Yeah, long live the new flesh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's awesome.
Man, Pierce Brosnan is a good looking man.
Yeah,
so
he was going to be Batman. He auditioned to be in the 89 Batman movie.
Oh, yeah.
And he was the front runner that everyone wanted.
And you know who Chris Nolan originally asked to be his Batman?
Chris Pratt.
Yes.
Yeah. Sonic.
An 18-year-old Chris Pratt. He just couldn't get the cowl on over the fur. No. Josh Hartnett.
All right.
Josh Hartnett, who made a massive career mistake by not pursuing Chris Nolan, not reciprocating Chris Nolan's...
you got to remind me who Josh Hartnett is.
Yeah, exactly. He was in... Oh, God, what was he even in? He had like one hit.
Lucky Number 11.
He was a one-hit man.
He was a hitman in...
Lucky Number...
Lucky Number 11. Right. And he was in Pearl Harbor.
No. He was in
yes, he was.
Sin City.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he was in Sin City as well. Yeah, you're right.
But his career tapered off dramatically, whereas,
The Faculty.
Oh, yeah, Black Hawk
Christian
Down.
Bale's did not. So, there you go.
I just watched that latest Christian Bale movie where he plays the old-timey detective with
Edgar Allan
Poe. Yeah, it was really good.
So this is Dr. Fate's lips telling them they have to come to Stone Ridge, Vermont, and Batman says, well, can you teleport us there? And he goes, nah, bro, no power.
And so Batman flicks one of his teeth with his finger.
Like, once again, these mystical beings, they're always talking about how all-powerful they are, but whenever you need them, they're not able to do what they need to do. They're not able to help out.
You think Batman is just thinking to himself, I look silly as shit during the day?
God, I really wish I would have.
He's like, I should just tell them I'm Bruce Wayne so I can wear a suit, a sharp suit.
Wear a nice suit. I'd look great in this. Oh my God, it looks so fucking stupid.
I mean, he's got domino masks. He can just wear a black suit with a domino mask.
He does that sometimes. I've seen that before.
Right.
So millions of people in Stone Ridge, Vermont are going to be turned into gray men. And Batman says, well, I guess we're going to have to deal with it. How long do we have until everyone is infected? And it's interesting here. Mr. Miracle uses a massive bank of computers to do a very simple calculation when he has access to a mother box.
Yep, and a phone.
Yep, but instead he uses tons of equipment to calculate that they have 52 hours.
Well, again, Skeets could have probably done this
Skeets
as well.
could have done it too. He is a smartphone.
Yeah, he's just a floating smartphone. He's a floating mother box, basically.
Of course, he can't connect to his provider because he's in the past.
Yeah, they haven't. They don't
Roaming
exist
charges.
yet.
Batman's seen them do all this. He's just thinking to himself, I'm never going to be able to get this pizza smell out of here.
Been trying for weeks.
It's
You can
in
see him
my
right.
cowl.
Look at that panel right there. He's like smelling it. And
Yeah,
he's grimacing a little bit. He's like, it smells like fucking grease.
Do you guys fucking smell that? It's gross.
It's like,
isn't
how
it?
good? Do the soles of everyone's boots feel really gross?
It's fucking Captain Marvel here probably loves it. This 14-year-old chump.
Yeah, right. He's got his books already read.
Yeah, when he went off after harumphing, he just went and ate a shit ton of pepperoni.
I had a joke. I used to do open mics, but the only joke I had that didn't piss everybody off was about Book It.
Are you going to tell it or just leave it there?
I already told the joke on the show
because it's been on the show. Yep, Book It turned into Fuck It. I remember
Book
this.
It turned into Fuck It. Yeah, but that was the most PC joke I had that didn't enrage everyone.
Solid joke. So they decide that they're going to head off and they're going to get there as soon as they can. They tell Blue Beetle to fire up the Bug, which is Blue Beetle's bug-based flying ship.
Which, if you're not aware of this, in case we have listeners, Owlman,
and we do.
In the Watchmen characters are based on the Charlton characters.
That's mostly, yes.
And
yes. But the owl.
Yeah, Night Owl is based
that what
off
they
of
called
Blue
it?
Beetle. Yeah, he's Night Owl.
And
well,
so
Archimedes.
the flying thing.
Archie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The one that they have like a 7-minute sex scene in.
Archie.
That one.
Archie. It's still Archie.
Yep, Archie's the name of the flying ship. And,
I think his name is Benny.
Right. This is becoming a problem. This is enraging me. See, now people are seeing why I had to go off on that sweater skin thing. Like it looked sadistic at the time, but now
nobody's going to agree with you threatening people.
Hold on. Oh, Shane,
not in public.
You're wrong there. James, I agree with you threatening people all the time.
See,
no one's going to agree with you threatening me.
Yeah, you are the hardest to threaten. I'll find a way.
Yeah, I'll find a way. Don't you worry. I'll get the people on my side.
I'm glad this is getting recorded and released to the public.
Oh, there's a panel here that looks like Batman looks down and realizes he's wearing the old costume with the underwear on the outside.
Oh shit! I'm still wearing this.
Or he's checking out his own abs. He's flexing and he's like, "Check this out."
Well, in fairness, Batman '89 hadn't come out yet.
And Martian Manhunter is looking at him. The manhunting he's doing is looking at Batman's abs.
So, Batman sends Captain Marvel out to do some recon and head out to Vermont. And then we get a nice page of Captain Marvel as he's flying through the sky and he's thinking through his problems from a 14-year-old's point of view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like he has tiny hands, but I know he doesn't.
No, he's got big, powerful fists. Powerful.
They look like that. I just for some reason they seem tiny.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's his curse is that he gets the body of a man, but his hands are still the size of a 14-year-old's.
No, that's just like Donald Trump.
Yeah, well, Donald Trump is my superhero, so it makes total sense.
I was thinking the uncle from It's Always Sunny.
The who? The what?
The uncle from It's Always Sunny.
The uncle.
The what guy?
The uncle.
Mike, you know what I'm talking about.
The uncle. The uncle. The uncle.
There you go. You just did twice in a row perfectly. You've been practicing.
I still don't know what you're talking about.
The better you get at saying uncle, the worse you get at finger whistling.
That's my curse.
Yeah.
I want to whistle with my fingers so bad.
The Lords of Order.
That's the balance.
Cursed you with this.
That's the cosmic balance. The cosmic ballet continues. Captain Marvel's thinking about the fact that he doesn't want to piss off Batman. He wants to respect his elders, but at the same time, hey, fuck you, buddy. What did I do? I was trying to help.
Yeah. Of course, he's also thinking to himself, I don't think these guys are the actual superheroes.
And also, it's kind of weird that I'm a 14-year-old boy and then I turn into a man and suddenly I just go through instant puberty.
He's like, I gotta go to school.
Yeah, I got things I gotta do.
Does he go to
maybe
school?
I don't. Yeah, he goes to school. He has a whole life.
Mm-hmm.
So what's he doing? Why is he joining the Justice League?
Well, you find out actually later he doesn't.
You gotta have a backup plan, He's gonna be a biochemist.
Yeah, what if he gets laid off from being Captain Marvel? He's got no backup plan and no education.
Like all Golden Age superheroes, he was a reporter. He was. I'm not kidding. He was another character that he was like a junior reporter kind of kid.
I mean, that is a great way to,
get on the scene. Yeah, it's a good excuse to be out there.
And at the time, DC Comics had child writers.
Yes,
as we found out.
Well, but on the other hand, the downside of that is, okay, that's a great excuse for you to be on the scene, but then you actually have to become a superhero and do your superheroing at the same time that you're supposed to be documenting it as a journalist.
You just got to remember, he has the wisdom of Solomon.
Yeah, that's probably where it comes in handy.
And then he remembers everything in shorthand.
He'd be better at Clark Kent's job than he is.
Clark Kent doesn't do his fucking job, as we found out for an entire month.
Well, that's why he didn't get a raise.
He had an entire bottled city of Kandor yell at him for not doing his job.
That's why he was publicly shamed.
No raise for you jabroni.
They couldn't just. I know this is going back to our first Superman episode of the year, but man, they couldn't just not put his name on the list of raises. They had to put his name on there and write that he got a zero.
Well, it shouldn't have been a
raise.
list of raises. That's how unions start.
It shouldn't
is
have
when
been
you
there in
do
the
shit
first
like
place.
that.
But at the very least, just leave his name off if he's not getting a raise.
Oh, and then the Daily Planet gets sold to Saudi Arabia.
So then Captain Marvel descends in Vermont, and he sees that Jack Ryder's hot seat has a van, like a news van, parked out in the woods.
That is
and
an
there's-
Astro van.
Oh, yeah, he's got a shaggin' wagon.
Yeah, that's a shaggin' wagon, dude.
Yeah, that is nice. Did that actually work? Did anyone ever do any shagging in those wagons? I feel like
Yup.
they didn't.
Yep.
That 70s show said that they did.
My
Did
buddy
they?
Little Paul in high school had a shaggin' wagon,
Paul.
and he got a lot of people pregnant. I think he has like a gang of kids now.
Oh, jeez.
I'm
That
sure
guy like the fuck.
he's got to be a wonderful father to them all.
Dude, I gotta say, like, he violated all the rules too. He was super short, you know, but it didn't matter. Like, that guy could get it.
It's just I don't understand the recklessness with which men used to impregnate women. Like,
It all
you
worked
realize this
out.
is going to be a problem for you later, right?
Yeah, but it's gonna be a benefit when you're really old.
Assuming that they don't hate you.
Yeah, that's why you have a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, you only need one. You only
You
need
only
one.
need
to really
yeah, you need two in case one's at work and you
get
need
back.
to get a
And
ride
one's
to
a
the
dud.
doctor.
Yeah, one could be a dud for sure.
Right? My parents only had two, and that did not work out. They should have had two more.
Well, speaking of horrible parental icons, Captain Marvel had terrible parents. He's an orphan.
He doesn't know.
He doesn't know. Well, I mean, they abandoned him. So
He had
probably.
great parents then.
That they left him to fend for himself. Yeah, great.
Look how well it worked out. He's
Only because he
Shazam.
encountered a wizard. Had he not encountered
Right.
that wizard, he'd be dead by now.
Think of all the orphans who encounter wizards.
The one?
We
Pretty
don't
much
know.
just the one.
That's why they have secret identities.
So there's a dude that works with Jack Ryder who's he's sitting outside the van, and he also looks like he's from the 70s. What is with all the people in this book? So
It was the look.
yeah, I guess it was. And he's having a bad time. He's dying. Something's going on. Captain Marvel's trying to find where that base newscaster Jack Ryder is.
Yeah,
Get his
just
autograph.
He wants to say. He goes, "Hey, dude, I got the scoop of the Justice League to tell you. Like, first and foremost, they're just a bunch of jabronis at a Pizza Hut."
Yeah, they're dickheads to me because
he
I'm a
just
14-year-old boy.
He's just frantically writing it down in his little notebook.
Pizza Hut. All right, got it. Pizza Hut. Batman's got a dumb costume, and you're a 14-year-old boy.
It's like, that's gold, Jerry.
This is all gold. He pushes up his fedora with his pen. Sensational. I think it was on The Simpsons. It was on but still.
So we combined a bunch of shit for that bit.
Yeah, well, you take what you got. So Captain Marvel swears he's going to deal with this guy's problem. He's going to avenge this dude. He's going to figure out what's going on in this Vermont town. And as he's flying, into Vermont, they pass by a McDonald's sign. And I can't really, what does it say? I'm assuming the creeper has creepily written something on the sign. And I can't.
Party something?
Party
Town?
to.
Party, wouldn't it be
Oh,
Party
Town. Yeah, it does say 1 mile till Party Town.
Just 1 more mile until Party Town, I guess. Okay.
That's awesome.
All right. So, yeah, that's probably coming from the Creeper, who we'll see again in a moment.
Who's played by Jim Carrey.
Creeping around. Who played Joe Biden, who's our other famous creeper, our presidential creep. So it all works together. So
he's an old-timey creep, too.
Yes. So Jim Carrey has experience playing a creep.
Well, I mean, he was Ace Ventura.
Yeah, that's a bad guy. Not a role model. Not a good role model.
Finkel is Einstein. That was what it was, right?
What? Who is that? What is that?
Einhorn. Finkel is Einhorn. That's
don't
what
know
everybody starts screaming about in Ace Ventura.
Oh, really?
In that
Again.
very poorly dated joke.
Okay. Again, I haven't seen the movie since I was like
I thought
11
Mike
years
might
old.
recognize it.
All I remember is they spin the lady around and she had like a dick on her ass. I don't remember
Wow.
I can't remember, or maybe she was like tucking, and that's what that was supposed to represent. That she had a bulge and she was tucking it.
Huh. I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember what the scene was.
They're looking at this problematic.
I think
remember-
they show her underwear and
When
you
I
see
when
it.
I was a kid and I didn't know what tucking was, I just thought they like took her penis off and sewed it to her ass. And I was confused by that. But now as an adult, I think back on that scene. And I go, yeah, I bet that she was just tucking in her penis.
There's a similar scene that I only saw this when I was like 11 years old or whatever. There's a similar scene in a Naked Gun movie where like the female sex symbol, we just see it in like silhouette, and she pulls down her pants or something, and we see a silhouette of a penis, and that was supposed to be a joke. Yeah,
and then O.J. Simpson killed his family.
That was not in the Naked Gun movie, but tangentially. So anyway, by the way, there was an interview that O.J. Simpson did years ago that just wasn't aired, and it finally came out of the vault, where he basically confesses to everything. I may have even mentioned on the show. I don't know. It was insane.
Well, he wrote a book about how he confesses to everything.
His book was called If I Did It.
Yeah, but that's the confession, bro.
He gave an interview, and his interview was in support of that book, but they just didn't air the interview. And in the interview, he says it's incredibly bizarre because it starts out as like an exercise. He says like, I'm gonna do this interview. I'm gonna we're gonna talk through this pretend scenario of what would have happened if I would have done it. But as he's walking through the scenario, he slowly starts changing the verbiage to just saying when I did it. And it gets really disturbing. He basically says like, and then I just chopped her head off, and it's really, really disturbing.
I mean, yeah, you think him and Leslie Nielsen are still friends?
Leslie Nielsen's dead.
I mean, before he died, do you think they were still like good friends?
Yeah, OJ was at his deathbed. He killed him.
He's like, OJ, I was your friend before you killed your wife, and I'm your friend today.
Don't abandon my friends.
You don't abandon your friends.
OJ also did that horrible Juiced show for pay-per-view. It was a one-off prank show.
Yeah.
Horribly, unbelievably unfunny. Like, you can see that they gave up on some of the routines, like when they realized it wasn't going to produce any laughs, and they could give up, but it's like, well, we still got to fill the hour. We don't have enough material. So they would leave it in, and it would just like, these weird routines would just peter out before they would hit a joke. It was really
It's like
bad.
Steven Seagal's Lawman.
Yeah. Man, the 90s really gave us a lot of insane celebrities.
That was in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Steven Seagal's Lawman? Yeah, that was after Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh, this is post-Dog. I measure most things pre and post-Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I kind of divide my life up.
That's what the new the new calendar is going to be.
Dog, yeah, yes. We got to get rid of this Gregorian shit.
And now we have to start over.
Julian? Are we in the Julian calendar?
Gregorian, you're right.
We are Gregorian? Okay.
There's a Julian calendar and there's a Gregorian calendar.
What's the dog's real name? What is his name?
Dog the Bounty Hunter is his real name.
Yeah.
I was gonna come up with a funny calendar name for him, but we're just gonna insist that he was born.
I bet his real name's like Clarence or something. Something like not very Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Dog the Bounty Hunter. What's his real name?
I don't know.
Real name.
Ozzy
Dwayne
Osbourne.
Chapman.
Dwayne Chapman.
Dwayne Chapman.
That's like The Rock being named, Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, we're going to the Dwaynian calendar.
Yep.
That's weird. My stepdad's name is Dwayne. I really don't want the calendar named after him.
Why?
It's just weird.
I mean, you can just
You don't think he's good enough to have a calendar named after him?
No, that's not it. It's just I wouldn't want it to be the Jamesian or the Mikeian either.
I absolutely would like the calendar to be named after me.
I say we all go by our own calendars from now on.
I agree.
I'm going to devise my own. I'm going to demand everyone adhere to it. And also, Shée, I think that's a great idea because then you can just say you got him that for his birthday. You changed the calendar for his birthday.
It's like when you buy that fake certificate that says you're a lord in Scotland.
Yeah, you bought a square foot on the moon.
Yeah, we gotta get like that sponsorship, like those scams.
Yeah, plant that flag.
We gotta get those guys to sponsor the show. Those scumbags.
Well, you did just call them scammers. So
I mean, they know that they are. It's like they know more than anybody. Besides the people they scammed, obviously.
All right, yeah, those people are in the dark a little bit.
I know.
The bug begins to descend in Vermont with everybody on it, and they're just kind of mulling over the day's events.
I'd be like, the way the bug flies implies that he's mastered anti-gravity technology and 0-point energy in order to power it.
Yep.
You'd think his company would be more successful.
Yeah, he's a poor owner. He doesn't know how to run this.
All society's problems would be solved with this technology.
No. Well, it's not necessarily reliable.
Like 0-point energy?
Maybe
yeah, it is.
Maybe he forgot how he did it. He made the bug, figured it wouldn't work, and then it did, and went, oh shit, I should have written all that stuff down.
All right, then he smoked some crack and fell over and cracked his dome, and he can't remember how he did it.
Like, well, at least I got the bug out of it, right? And then he smoked some more crack.
And then he put on a costume and became a superhero at a Pizza Hut.
It's been a perfect life.
And he's just been smoking crack this whole time. That's why Mr. Miracle's sitting down.
Yeah. Well, Blue Beetle took the one chair.
Yeah, there's only one chair. That's why they're all standing around.
They're standing around.
The bug also looks like the inside of a Pizza Hut.
Well, one is modeled after the other. I'm not sure which was first. Martian Manhunter is telling Batman that he was too harsh on everybody, too hard on Captain Marvel. Batman's telling him, hey, fucking mind your own business. You're not even from this planet.
Blue Beetle looks like he's sitting in one of those plastic spinny chairs that you sit in at a bowling alley.
Whee! Yeah, I love those chairs. Those are great. So they land in Vermont, and they're like, Martian Manhunter's saying, I sense a presence, a strange, disturbing presence, and it's not the Gray Man. Remember the Gray Man?
And Batman's just like, I could have just been on the phone for this.
Yeah, I really don't need to be here. In fact, I'm of no value.
No, I'm just looking stupid.
You guys all have powers. I've got a
He's looking at his Batarang embarrassingly. He's rethinking his no gun thing now. He's like, what would really help is if I had a bunch of guns.
So then, finally, we get the Creeper showing up in full creep regalia.
Right, and the Creeper has a liver disorder.
Why is this?
Because he's yellow.
His skin is jaundice?
Yes,
I have to say,
jaundice.
I do like the Creeper's design. He's yellow skin. We looked at the Creeper once before, but it was a long time ago. The Creeper's got yellow skin, green hair, blank eyes. He's got like a red boa / cape, and green little panties.
They're like swim trunks.
He looks really cool. I really like him.
And he's got like elf boots and gloves.
In the original version of the Creeper, the reason he's got this costume is he was investigating something and he needed a costume to infiltrate a costume party, and this was like all he could scare up. And then he was exposed to a chemical that allowed him to switch into that outfit whenever he activated his powers. But since this is what he was wearing, this is what it became.
And whenever he activates his powers, he has to go through dialysis.
It's very expensive. This is why he's got to have that second job on that political show.
Right? That
you gotta
awesome
get the insurance.
Show, that correct show.
Yes, I need those insurance benefits.
It's fun. Green Lantern's still laying on that floor, that greasy Pizza Hut floor.
Yeah, fuck him. Fuck it.
He's probably swallowed all his blood.
He swallowed his tongue, yeah.
Right, that just left him there.
Yeah, whatever. It's fine. He'll be fine.
Now it's going to smell like old grease and death.
If the Lord wants him to survive, he will.
That's what Batman says.
Batman was very Christian about it.
As he sashays away with his billowy cape.
Is Batman super religious? I wouldn't have joined the team if I knew he was super, super Christian.
I mean, it's clearly not actually Bruce Wayne.
Well, that's all the more reason for him to be played by Chris Pratt.
Like, it's somebody else. Everyone in this comic is somebody else. Has Martian Manhunter done anything with his powers? He has more powers he's more powerful than all the other characters combined, and he hasn't done one thing yet.
No, he partially disappeared himself for a second here in this panel, and he felt a presence, which didn't help him any.
I can say that. Hey guys, I feel a presence right now.
I'm trying to defend him, but at the same time, I've met people who legitimately believe they're ghost hunters.
Right.
And they do this where they'll go into a basement and go, oh, I definitely feel a presence here. No, you don't.
Yeah, he's the DC version of a ghost hunter. He's a manhunter.
Yeah. It's called somebody left the vents on. Like, you felt a little air blowing on you. It's not a presence.
I'd be terrified if an all-powerful Martian came to Earth and says he hunts men. It's like the book in the Twilight Zone. It's how to cook people.
Oh yeah, to serve man.
To serve man. He's to serve man.
So
he just wants his Oreos.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter does like Oreos. He's a big fan of Oreos in this run. That's his quirk. That's his one thing. So
isn't that what causes the famous picture of Blue Beetle and Booster running? Is they fucked with Martian Manhunter's Oreos?
Yeah, I think maybe they took his Oreos or they replaced them with Hydrox or something, which are arguably the superior cookie.
So when Batman one punches Green Lantern, at what point does he flick a cigarette at Martian Manhunter, killing him?
Well, it's called the one of the first arcs in Morrison's JLA. Yeah. That's exactly what happens. Batman figures out that he figures out that the squad that comes to Earth, they're like an interdimensional, intergalactic version of the Justice League. But he figures out that, oh no, they're actually white Martians, and he just sets them on fire.
So he can kill
expose
them.
or
He doesn't
exposes
flick a
them to fire.
cigarette. He doesn't flick a cigarette at them though.
At the time, Batman was a heavy smoker.
He was a heavy. He had to get that rasp. His voice wasn't raspy enough.
He just stressed out.
Yeah. So the creeper creepily shows up and he sniffs everybody a little bit, and then he says, "Yeah, some weird shit's going on in this town. I didn't do it. I just stopped off at Ace Hardware and got this bucket of gloss enamel so I could paint things red for some reason."
They're like, "Oh my God, it's a supervillain! Batman, quick, punch him in the face!"
Well, he's not a supervillain. He's sort of an anti-hero or an anti-villain, if you will.
Yeah. There's a great episode of Batman the Animated Series with him and Harley Quinn, and he has a big old crush on Harley Quinn.
Oh yeah, that's a good
and
episode.
does not take no for an answer.
Yeah, he's pretty rapey.
He's a creep.
Well, I mean, he is a creep.
I mean, he's not mislabeling himself. He doesn't call himself the feminist. He calls himself the creeper.
That's gonna be the revamp.
Yeah.
And then like bros on the internet are gonna complain about it.
Oh man, they had to wokeify the creeper.
Yeah, they wokeified the creeper. He's literally called the creeper. You can't do that.
It's always they always get so up in arms about characters that they never gave a shit about. Nobody cares.
Just don't watch it. Like, who cares?
Yeah. Who cares that we had to maybe update all these problematic characters created by rich white guys? Not rich white guys. Poor white guys.
Just whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not
Everybody do
for
whatever they
you,
want.
old guy. It's for children. These things are for children. Calm down.
Children and man children. All right.
Jesus.
It's also for children in the bodies of adults like me.
Woof. If you're bald and you have more hair on your back than on your head, you gotta stop caring so much about this stuff.
You just gotta, my relationship with comics has changed a lot over the years, and that's partially because it was just like I don't feel the need to give up on comics and superheroes, but I do need to change the way I interact with them because otherwise it gets sad and pathetic.
Yeah, it's just for fun.
It's just
like
for
reading old Superman comics. They're fun.
Have fun. Take care of your hygiene. There is literally nothing in any comic book worth getting upset about. Calm the fuck down. Shave. All right, clean it up.
Yeah, clean it up. Soap.
Yeah, a little soap, a little hygiene. Start flossing. People aren't flossing enough, I'll tell you that much.
I do it every day or every other day.
I do it every day, for sure.
I try to do it before I go to bed, but sometimes I'm just so tired.
I mean, I half-ass it, say it. I half-ass it a little bit, but I do get in there.
My dentist is always very happy with me. Besides drinking coffee.
I'm sure the creeper's dentist is happy with him too. He's got a fantastic smile.
Yeah, well, his skin is yellow, okay? It's going to hide that shit.
True.
He's got white gums. He's clearly sick.
In fairness, your teeth are not supposed to be white. That is some fucked up...
yeah, they are. I have Arm & Hammer baking soda toothpaste that says different.
Your teeth are supposed to have a little bit of a yellow hue. They're basically exposed bones. Why
There's
would
a
they be
sponsorship we should get. I'm going to tell you that right now. That shit works. I drink a shit ton of coffee, so my teeth are all fucked up from it. And I use that Arm & Hammer baking soda toothpaste, and that cleans that right up.
Wow. Yeah, I have a slight yellowing, but I think I'm where I'm supposed to be because I don't smoke. I don't drink this coffee, so I think I'm pretty much, I think I'm doing okay. But it's not gleaming white, that creepy gleaming white that you see from all those Stepford wives.
Oh, well, they don't have real teeth though. They get veneers. They get their actual teeth removed, so they get these
so
fake
creepy.
ones. Yeah, it's fucked up. That's what
I have
Roman
white
Reigns
teeth.
did.
What's that?
How
I
the
just
fuck
said
do you?
I have white teeth.
How the fuck do you have white
Yeah,
teeth?
Shée
You
does
drink
have
all
really
that
white
soda.
I don't know.
Well, it's sugar-free soda.
Yeah, but there's still the dark dye in it.
I think it's the sugar more than anything well, maybe not. I'm not
No,
sure.
it's the syrupy dye that
I don't
turns
know.
your teeth fucked up colors.
Some people are just very very lucky with
And she drinks
their
no
teeth.
water.
Yeah, sometimes I force some water on her. I've
Yeah, I
forced
bet
a
you
little water
do.
on her.
Supergirl style.
Not really sure. All right. You really gotta go back and re-listen to all the
Another
Superman
callback.
episodes. People are. This is what I say. How real people are starting to look more like AI as AI starts looking more like real people. We're reaching a singularity.
I tell you, the AI is Greta Thunberg. That girl ain't real. Come
All right.
on.
No, she's accomplished more than we have, and she's a
Come on.
third
No,
our
she
age.
didn't. She's not real.
She became the person of the year,
She's there to just piss off red pill dudes.
and again, doing a lot better than we are.
And Andrew Tate ain't real either. All right, they keep saying he's some famous kickboxer from back in the day. I ain't never heard of that guy.
No, he was on. It was like the super low level that anybody could basically join. It was like the
Whatever.
bullshit level. Yeah,
It's called Ain't Real.
Mike,
It ain't
why
real
don't you
level.
Give me a list of the people you think are real. It'll make it a lot easier on me. If
I
can
just
look
think
at,
those
the...
two people are not real.
Oh,
Because it's too stupid. All that stuff is too stupid.
I've
It
got
seems
200.
There's like two people that were made up to piss people off.
I got 200 plus episodes that
Says
suggest
the
that you don't believe a lot of other people.
antagonistic troll on our show.
Professional. Professionals get paid.
I would call Mike a professional troll.
I'm pretty trolly at work.
Yes.
I'm paid
He's
to be
very
trolly.
professional. Mike always puts on a tie before he trolls people.
That's right. Like all
I
the
take my
best
job
trolls, they're called
seriously.
politicians.
Yes. So the creeper says, all right, I didn't do any of this, but you should probably take a look at what's happening in Stone Ridge. It's pretty awesome, if I'm
He
being
did make that
honest here.
sign, though. He did write Party Town.
He did write Party Time. He seems to be into this, even though he is ostensibly a hero of some sort. But he's having fun while he's doing it. He's enjoying his job, unlike Batman, who never enjoys his job. If you're going to do it, you might as well have a good time, and the creeper's enjoying it.
Hey, just because he isn't smiling doesn't mean he's not enjoying it.
Look at that fucking ass muscle that's popping out of his jammies.
Yeah, he looks so good.
Look at that. Oh,
Look at
my
that-
God. Look at that glute.
Yeah, glute just
That
sliding
guy's
right
doing
out.
leg day at least 3 times a
Oh,
week.
yeah. Good for him.
Well, he's climbing and jumping out of trees.
I'm a upper body, lower body split guy.
Oh.
So I do a lot of leg days as well.
Yeah, I try to mix it. I kind of do a little bit of everything on the weight days, and then I just run on the run days, more or less. There's a little bit of bleed.
That's smart.
Well, you're not supposed to run. You're not supposed to do too much cardio on the days that you're lifting. You're supposed to try and spread them out. I do a little bit of cardio. Sometimes I'll run a couple miles after I do weights, but generally I try to space them out, and I think that's been a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's worked well.
Yeah, that's good.
Anyway, so Creeper says, "Yeah, look over the ridge here. It's Stone Ridge, as it were, and let's see what happened to the town."
Yeah, it turns into a Cronenberg movie.
Yeah, all the buildings have been turned. They look like they're made out of bones or
Yeah,
various.
good call with Cronenberg.
Yeah,
It's very
it's all
Cronenberg,
future crimes looking.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. Creeper thinks it's hilarious. He's singing "It's My Kind of Town" and he's laughing.
Yeah.
And everything looks like a beehive or a honeycomb or something.
Yep, they go, quick, Martian Manhunter, use your psychic powers to figure out what's going on. He's like, I don't actually know how to do that.
I've been.
He goes,
I've been sacked.
I feel a presence.
I sense fire. It's weakening me. Yeah. So nobody really did much of anything in this book,
Nope.
and that's how it
Focus-
ends.
Yep.
I don't know, man. What do we think of this?
No, this book was terrible.
You're definitely wrong on that.
It was bad. The Justice League are a bunch of jabronis. They
so
live
that doesn't make it a bad book.
They live in a Pizza Hut.
Again, these are
The
great
best
things.
character is Jack Ryder.
Again, these are not necessarily strikes against it. Like the fact that they're not, high level superheroes is not necessarily a strike
Well,
against
Batman's supposed to be, and Martian Manhunter is basically a
it.
god.
Well, this was 1987. He was not that level of superhero. At that
Dr.
point.
Fate's also a god.
Yeah, Dr. Fate.
Booster Gold, because of his future technology, is basically a god. There's Green Lantern, who's kind of a god. There's Shazam, who's literally a god,
No, he just has the powers of gods.
which makes you god.
I don't think that that's true. I don't think the only thing separating a man from God is the power. I think there's some sort of.
It's like Jesus. He summons the power of the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him God. That makes
He
him
becomes
Super
Christ. He has to yell out Christ.
Saiyan. Well, with intent, he has to yell out Christ
Yeah, with
in order to
intent,
turn into Christ. Shée, I don't think I need to ask, but what do you think of this?
This is one of my favorite comics.
Oh my God.
I
Jay.
did enjoy this very much.
I should say run. I mean, like, obviously,
Yeah.
this is not a super exciting comic, but this
No.
run.
This
Shay,
issue,
what's your famous comic book of all time? What's your favorite?
favoritist?
Your favorite comic book ever?
I
single
really
issue?
love 52.
Not
We're talking-
superhero books either, like just in general.
Well, Shea pretty much only reads superhero comics.
Man, you're missing out on some good shit.
That's true. That is true. I got a lot of good stuff sitting around on the shelf.
I'm reading
that
this
true?
time travel. I'm reading this time travel comic right now called The Time Before Time. It's excellent. It's
I
still
read
ongoing.
My Friend Dahmer.
Yeah, serial
I
killers.
read
and
Did You Hear What
superheroes.
Eddie Gein done or did?
Yeah.
You never read The Goddamned? That's such a good book.
I don't know, man. I enjoyed it, but yeah, this is not the best part of the run, I'm sure. It's a little boring, but it's set up. But I still enjoyed it very much. I don't know, man. I'll give it 4 out of 5 creeps.
Look, I'll say, a fucking 14-year-old that looks like she's 18 and like big titties and
Yeah.
like, of course I'm attracted to that.
Was that Justin Roiland?
It's Justin
Oh,
Roiland
man.
years ago on a podcast explaining how he thinks 14-year-old girls can be attractive.
That's a shame. Like we'll never get the end of that show now.
Dude, we were never going to get the end of it. They were going to bleed that thing dry forever.
They were so close to like a conclusion.
It
like
kinda
they were 1 season away from wrapping it up.
No, do you not realize that they ordered 70 episodes? Did you not read all the stories about this?
They're not actually going to do that.
They were contracted to do 70
Well, now they're not going to do
episodes.
any of them.
No,
Like,
they're doing all of them. You got to start keeping up with the news if you're going to have hot takes on things.
No, they're gonna like try, and then it's just not going to happen.
I don't know. Then they're going to have to pay off Dan Harmon quite a bit of money.
What's going to happen is they're going to keep finding out shit about this dude. Like, it's going to get worse.
I don't know.
And then they're going to be like, we can't even show Rick and Morty anymore.
I mean, they've already cut ties with them. I don't know. The show was kind of shitty anyway. It wasn't that good of a show.
I like Rick and Morty a lot.
You fucking neckbeards. No.
I liked Rick and Morty. I liked that guy's
I
other
don't
shows.
think you dislike the show, James. I think you dislike the fans.
I do dislike the fans, but also when I watch the show, it has that fucking 17-year-old teenage philosophy student attitude. It's just it feels like the whole mentality of it was written by a child. It's just very well.
I liked Solar Opposites too. His other show that was really funny.
I mean, I don't know that the dude's a pedophile. Those accusations have not necessarily been substantiated.
Oh, I see. You'll defend Michael Jackson, but not Justin Roiland.
No, I kind of just did. I said I'm not saying he's a pedophile.
Didn't you just play a clip where he pretty much admitted to being a pedophile?
Right, I've never said that. I've said a lot of fucked up things.
Later on in that same clip, he then insists he's not a pedophile. So I don't know. But just because he said something doesn't. My point with that clip was to illustrate that he's a creep.
That's like OJ. OJ doing the interview, if I did it.
You know, with the Michael Jackson thing, if you guys, everything that tells you that he was guilty is, if you actually ask yourself, well, why did I come to that conclusion? It's always, well, that's because everyone says that. That's why. That's the reason I came up with the conclusion that he's guilty, because everyone says it. Nobody can actually point me to a piece of evidence.
I said that we'll never know for sure. That was my conclusion on that.
That was your way to get out. That was your wiggling out.
Yeah, I wiggle out of shit. That's what I'm known for.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why you wanted to wiggle out of that one of all things.
Because I don't know. Because I don't know.
Yeah, but that's not stopped you before.
It's true.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I didn't try to wiggle out of that just now.
Well, thanks for the suggestion, Jay. It was still fun. We had plenty of talk about.
Yeah, that was great. I love the Pizza Hut Justice League Clubhouse.
We should talk about what we're doing next week.
Yep, we should.
We should spin that wheel. And let's see. We always play a spinning song, and this one comes.
You
courtesy...
put everything on this wheel.
This isn't even everything. This is as many things as I could.
Because I see some requests on here too. These
are not a request wheel. Now I will say, you might be looking at Nighthawk. Nighthawk.
I'm looking at Billy Ray Cyrus.
Okay, wait, hang on. You might be looking at Nighthawk. Nighthawk is not a request. What is it? Darkhawk is a request.
I put Nighthawk in.
Billy Ray Cyrus, I put on here because I wanted to do it, and it was a request. Yeah. Those are two separate incidents, and I thought that was acceptable.
It'll probably land up. There's a bunch of shit in here I forgot about.
There's a bunch of shit on here. So, yeah, it's going to be a fun one. We're going to dig deep in the bag. And as always, we play some spinning music, and this one comes courtesy of, I think her name is Shée.
Spin around, jump back, take another look at yourself.
Shée, is your band? Were you a pop star back in the day? Like a ball pop star?
No.
No.
Bro, why aren't you pushing the show better?
Pussycats.
It's from Josie and the Pussycats, Spin Around. Apparently, Shée was into that.
Really? Was that your movie?
And I was too, for a different reason.
Oh, no. I was into it for the same reason as you. Because they're 14-year-olds with big titties.
I played that soundtrack last night.
Did you really?
Oh, cringe.
Yeah. You were hanging out. Well, you were hanging out with another female, listening to the Josie and the Pussycats soundtrack.
Wow, neckbeard.
I know. That's why I phrased it that way. And the two of you decided to hang out and listen to the Josie and the Pussycats soundtrack.
And watch The Mummy.
Okay.
What the fuck is this?
But that's your response most of the time. This is something you put on there.
Sure.
I think years ago. Black Knight.
We've been doing this show
Wait,
for
hold
years.
on. It's Black Knight, but I don't know of an issue number. Let's see. You just said it's from 1955. Good Lord. And it says, I haven't looked yet.
All right, it's got a link.
So let's look at this cover.
So there's a number.
Issue 4 from Atlas Comics, Black Knight. Thrills
Sweet.
From King Arthur and his Knights of the Round Table, the greatest knight of them all.
Sweet. Why the hell did you put this on, Mike?
Sweet. I don't know. I was
doing,
how many years ago did I add this to the list? Because
it was a very different show at the time.
My drug use has been reduced dramatically.
Right.
Over the years.
Well, this is exactly what you might think. It's some sort of knight, King Arthur kind of comic. And King Arthur is having maybe a nice feast, or maybe he's having a planning session with his Justice League. And then this Black Knight runs in, and he looks like he's wearing a fedora on top of his night costume.
Or a bow.
Or a bow. And it says, and now, Mordred the Evil, you will battle the one you betrayed. Oh, it's not
All right, Mordred. That's King Arthur's inbred son.
All right. Well, I guess we're going to find out about that. It is approved by the Comics Code Authority, though.
Sweet.
Which means it's great.
Which means they won't bring up how Mordred is inbred.
It's just going to be implied.
Because King Arthur got date raped by his sister.
Okay, all right. That's officially.
That's what happened. That's in the book.
It's time to wrap. I don't see. Sometimes I can't tell what's real and what's not anymore.
You guys
just
never read? You didn't take British Lit?
Conversation with Mike is like looking at AR art. I just can't tell what's real anymore.
Technically, King Arthur is a French book, but whatever.
That's next time. Shée, do you want to do some things that end things before we go away?
Sure. How about some plugs?
Yeah, them.
All right. Well, hear me scream about how great Ted Cord is in the majority of our other episodes. Stitcher, Apple Podcast, whatever the hell you're listening to right now, Spotify. And you can listen on darksidescouch.com. And then follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Dark Sides Couch. And check out YouTube because James has been up in his game and putting up some bomb-ass videos.
Yeah, those videos are great.
Oh, God. See what I'm working on for the last week of Supermanuary.
I can't wait.
Oh,
I can't wait.
Well, again, as I'll remind you guys, just because you worked hard on something doesn't mean it was good. Mm-hmm. Right?
Every gig I've ever done.
You're the best dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be. I would be.
I've got a lot of I've been playing your shorts on Twitch, and we've been complimented a lot about them.
Yeah, we try. We make little tight, like 30 to 60-second clips of some of the shows with some goofy visuals, and you put some music, and it makes everything exciting. You could be reading off your grocery list, and you juice it with some nice music and everything, and it gets exciting.
Yeah, juiced.
So yeah, get
Use the
juiced. Get juiced. Get juiced on YouTube. Go subscribe and watch some clips, and then maybe watch that Juice special if you can dig it up. I can't tell you where to find it.
Yep.
It's not worth it, guys.
It's really not funny. It's not entertaining. It's not even like morbidly fun. It's just bizarre.
It's just uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable.
I can't wait to play it on Twitch now.
Yep. Anybody got any final thoughts before we get out of here?
So speaking of my old drug use, go back and listen to older episodes of Dark Side's Couch and hit me up on Twitter and guess which episode I was secretly on 2 hits of LSD I never told James and Shée.
Shée. You know this is how the show ends.
No, I got thrown off by trying to think of which episode Mike would have been on 2 hits.
Yeah, which one could it have possibly
Probably
been?
not the one you're thinking.
Well, you're gonna answer. Why don't you answer next episode?
No, people have to guess.
Well, yeah.
They have to go through all the previous episodes and guess.
All right. Well, I want to know eventually.
This is how I'm going to uptick that traffic.
Yeah. Shée, do you have a final comment? Since this was a book that you kind of wanted to look at, I figured that you should have some.
Check out the rest of the run.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, and check out Scooby-Doo, the Apocalyptic Scooby-Doo comic, because I think that was both Giffen and DeMatteis, if not just Giffen, and it's great.
Scooby Apocalypse.
Maybe I should give away issues of my personal comic book collection to people who guess correctly and turn it into a contest.
That's a great idea.
And you should sign it.
That's official. We've officially made that the contest.
Maybe you can just send them, maybe instead of giving it to Santa, you can just give him a little bit of your cums.
No take backsies. Ta-ta for now, Christian Crusaders. We'll talk to you next time on the couch.
Now look, Bats, you can hatch all the plans you want, but from here on in, Guy Gardner's working alone.
You so much as sneeze without my permission, you're going to regret it.
That I'd like to see! One punch! One punch!